Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the weekly Monday Motivation Podcast, No More Excuses. I am your host, Sandy Ballard, the Badass Business Coach. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, investing in you. And if you haven't, please share this podcast with others. Either tell them about it or use the link, share it away. I appreciate it. And don't forget to check out my website, badassbusiness.coach. And if you're new here, message me. Where are you listening? 88 countries, over 8,000, close to 8,000 downloads last month. So really appreciate that. So it's just always cool to hear from people like Steven in Arizona. Thanks for being a longtime listener and always for, checking out LinkedIn posts and commenting and sharing your goals and challenges and successes as well. So cheers to you, Stephen. All right. Last Monday's podcast was about freedom and independence. Does your job or business give you what you need to feel and experience both of those things? If so, how? If not, why not? What's keeping you from it? It's okay to need help and ask for help. We all depend on someone or something at some point in our lives, but it's more of that feeling of the majority of the time to be free and free from dependence, right? As I mentioned in last Monday's podcast and in the social media post, it's such an amazing thing to have the freedom to help others, to have the freedom and the independence to succeed, right? A couple examples, my friend's company back in Indiana who offers all of her staff, I think it's like 10 paid hours a month to go volunteer, to do whatever they want to do, as long as it's for a nonprofit, obviously. And, that's kind of a cool thing. And a client of mine, actually, they have their staff volunteer together. They do yearly events, like traditional soup kitchens or places like that during the holidays. But then they're also doing an event, a 5K walk run that's coming up that's going to help raise money. And it's a family thing. So just kind of a couple cool things that people are doing to help others as a company, and then obviously the individuals, the staff that work there. But it's more than just helping others. It's, are you able to, help yourself? As a business owner, does your business do you allow others to the freedom to grow and to learn, continue to learn? Not everyone needs continuing education for their job, but do you allow that? Do you bring in people or have access to webinars and workshops that can help them grow, and have them have the independence to make decisions, right? Having the independence and can help you feel freer, and with both of those, you can take the necessary steps to grow both personally and professionally and achieve the success you desire. You think about that, what is, the freedom and independence that you have? What is it helping you achieve? Or if you had more, what could it help you with? We've all heard the phrases, if money were no object, what would you do? Or what would you do if you had no fear? Those are two things that kind of hinder us a lot. And this week, I want you to dream bigger. Think about if if you don't have the freedom that you'd like, or perhaps you aren't as independent as you would like to be, if you had no fear and money was not an issue, what would you do? I'd love to hear from you. Sometimes we're missing one of those things and many times both. And they're related because lack of money brings about fear, lack of independence, and lack of freedom, and lack of the ability to grow, both personally and professionally, can bring about frustration and probably some fear as well. If money were no object, what would you do? Something I've always wanted to do is open up a co-working space. And yes, there are plenty of those out there, but not just to rent space, not just to have an office, but to connect, truly connect with other like-minded professionals, learn from each other, as well as have access to experts to help them start and grow and succeed. Thinking think tanks, masterminds, free startup and growth workshops, and on-site coaching, obviously, not just by me, but a team of coaches. And it would be part of the rental fee. It's actually something you have to commit to as an investment in you and to be part of the co-working, I don't want to say co-working space, but I actually looked into a building years ago back in Indiana. I had a business plan. I had it all together because I had to. I was applying for a grant. I think Eli Lilly and some other organizations were giving away money. They were giving grants to organizations. Unfortunately, I didn't get it, but other arts organizations and things got it in Indiana as well, and that was cool. They're doing some really amazing things, but that was one of those things I have not let that dream go. I keep poking around and looking at it. So, hey, if you want to donate to my cause, let me know, right? So that's something I would do. So I want you to tell me, what would you do if money were no object? And if fear did not exist, I mean, for me, I'm pretty fearless, especially considering we moved from Indiana to California with really no true financial plan to make it happen. I left my safety net of connections, clients, friends, and a really kick-ass house and with a low mortgage to take this chance. And we stayed when COVID hit, and then we stayed when the man Candy lost his job that brought us out here to California. My clients cut back or shut down, at least for a while. And it was scary, especially when you have friends and family all constantly saying, aren't you moving back? They would ask us, well, how are you going to stay there? How are you going to do this? I couldn't live there. It was all this negativity and all these things kind of throwing fear at us. It was their fear they were projecting. And it can be easy to let that into your head. And it was overwhelming sometimes. But instead of listening to that fear, I focused on what I wanted and my vision, which was to live here in California. Years ago, it was 2019, when I stood on the beach when I was visiting my daughter, I was standing there and intently said to the ocean, I don't know how or when, but I'll be back to live here for good. And within later that year, 7 months, I was back here living. So it's amazing, that power, that goal, that vision, right? So, I knew what I needed to do. I needed to dream bigger. I needed to dig back in and make new connections, get involved in the community, network, and pivot so I could regrow my business. I joined the chamber, I joined BNI, which is a networking organization. I started networking immediately, and I didn't give up when the vid didn't give up. I turned more to social media groups and online promotions and marketing. And, I just held on to that and I blocked out the fear. So now it's your turn. I want you to dream. What would you do? I want you to think bigger. What would you do or do more of? Would you just start a business? Would you expand your current one by adding staff or locations or a product or service? Would you move? Would you tell your boss or a few clients to get lost? Whatever it is, I want you to really think about it. If money was no object and you had no fear, what would you do? Write it down, say it out loud, put it on your vision board, share here. Email me, sandy@sandyballard.com. What do you really want to do but have felt it's not possible for any reason? All right, I look forward to hearing from you, and let's have a great, fearless week. Let me help you. If you can't figure it out, let me help you move through the fear and dream bigger so you can play bigger. All right, this week is all about dreaming bigger. We've got 5.5 more months left in the year. Let's kick ass and make some badass shit happen. All right, cheers.